Hi, this is Randy from Fried Eggs Golf, and welcome to yet another edition of Over Easy. We are post PGA Championship, and I couldn't have been more wrong if I tried with my pick. I picked Rory McIlroy to win, and as we all know, he missed the cut, and it wasn't even close. And I could stomach it a little more, I think, if he just played awful and he had no chance. But if you watched him tee to green, which I did follow him very closely, I'm a Rory fan, and I watched a lot of his the featured groups on the app there, and he hit the ball amazing off the tee. I mean, this guy hit him so far and so straight, and actually hit some decent irons and decent wedge shots. The man could not putt at all, and I feel like that's kind of been his downfall for this year. Really, is he just hasn't putted that well in major tournaments. But he hits it so well so far. But anyway, Jimmy Walker wins, and he does it in a manner which makes me feel like golf has changed. And what I mean by that is we're 4 majors in, we've completed 4 majors, and we have 4 first-time champions. And this seems to be a trend ongoing. I mean, we've look how many first-time champions we've had in the last couple years, and look back 10 years ago, you could almost throw 5 guys' names in a hat, draw it out, and that's who was going to win the major. And it's just not that way anymore. Golf has changed. It's evolved. It seems like the competition is much deeper, and it's really hard to pick who's going to win these tournaments because it could be anybody. It seems like these guys all are competing at that skill level where it could be anyone's tournament. It's just about who's on that week, who's able to make the shots when they need to, and who's able to drain the putts when they need to. But let's not focus on anything but how wrong I was. I was very wrong, and I apologize. And it's actually not the only thing I was wrong about. Actually, I have an apology to give out, and it's to Sing Verk. And I'm not sure of his real name, otherwise I would use it. But I'm sorry. He had actually made a comment to me on one of my videos, and I just want to give this a brief attention here before I get into the questions. And he made a comment on how I describe the line angle of a golf club affecting ball flight. And it's, for whatever reason, I'll give you my brief breakdown. It's so easy in the retail world and in club fitting to talk about line angle as if it's the club interacting with the turf. As far as an upright golf club, the heel grabs, turns over, and it creates a draw. Vice versa for a toe, it grabs into the turf, it's on the toe side, and it makes a fade. This is a very inefficient way of describing what's actually taking place, and Sing Verk called me out on it, and he was like, "That's not what's happening here to create these pulls and pushes from inappropriate or line angles that don't fit our swing." And I kind of just brushed him off and kind of rudely undermined what he was saying, like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." And it wasn't until like his 3rd or 4th comment, he was very persistent, that I actually looked into what he was saying, and I was very wrong. And I admit that I never analyzed line angle the way he was describing it to me. I just took it at face value as far as, how the manufacturers talk about, turf interaction, which there is some turf interaction, especially with amateur golfers. We tend to make impact a little bit behind the ball. And when doing so, it can manipulate the club if the toe or heel are digging in a little bit, but it's not to the extent that we describe it. And it seems to affect good ball strikers less because we tend to hit ball first and then divot after the ball, but that's, we don't always accomplish that feat. But without getting too much into it, what he described, and I actually made a video to kind of help demonstrate and talk and help show what he's saying, because it is kind of confusing, and the whole turf interaction thing is kind of the easy way out. It's the easy way to visually show a consumer that's getting fit how it's affecting his ball flight. But the way he broke it down is much more accurate representation, and I'll show you in the video. I'll put an overlay over as I'm talking. But basically what I've done is I've taken a loft lie machine here as far as measuring that on a golf club, and I've mounted a club into it. And you can see that the leading edge runs straight with the platform with the lines on the platform it's sitting on. And as I bend the club backwards here, I'm not really bending the club, I'm just changing its position and to simulate uprightness. You can see that leading edge stays parallel with those lines, so that hasn't changed. And this is why I ignored him, because I thought he was talking about that leading edge opening and closing as far as when you change the lie angle, because he was like, it's the face is more open and more closed when in a flatter or upright position. And I'll show you what he means by that. Now, if we look at this video, you can see that the club is sitting square, and I've put a face angle reader on there, and it's pointing at 0 there. Now, when I take the club and I bend it upright, which he was saying that the loft of the face is what's changing, when I bend it upright and reposition that face angle reader there, you can see now it's pointing to the left. And the reason being is because the loft on the golf club is now tilted back, much like he says when you're standing on a slope. It's now pointed left into the air because of the angle. So that's why it's important at impact to have the face as flush to the ground as possible, as far as, we want it to lie as evenly as possible at impact. That way the club's not tilted and it's not shoving the ball off in another direction. So Singverk, I apologize. You are 100% correct. And I think that that's a much more efficient way. It's just hard to, I guess, spell out and to show somebody in a retail setting or in a fitting setting, but it makes complete sense. It's just hard without seeing the imagery there to actually connect the dots on what you're trying to say. So 100% right. I think it's great information, and I really appreciate your comments and being very persistent with me and making sure that I understood what you're talking about. So thank you very much. Without any further delay, we're going to jump into the questions and start out with Captain Cheese. That's a good one to start with. Captain Cheese says, at what RPM where a ball spin backwards, is every ball able to spin enough to zip back? I don't know the exact RPM that a ball spins back, but typically with wedges, you want to be north of 10,000 RPMs, especially full swing wedges. That's going to get a ball to land and check and stop. When you talk about zip back, you're probably more referring to like full sand wedge or 50-degree wedges into greens, and really objective. I mean, looking at this from another perspective, you don't really want a golf ball to pull back too much. A lot of times it can hurt you, and it's hard to control or know how much a ball is going to pull back. So a lot of times we like to see a ball hit, hop once, and then maybe pull back a little bit, but stop in that general vicinity. Turf conditions also dictate this. Soft greens, soft fairways, anytime a ball hits into a soft surface with spin on it, it's going to be more susceptible to spinning backwards. But without wet conditions, it's near impossible to spin back a Surlyn-covered golf ball. Urethane is really where you're going to obtain most of that wedge spin and that iron spin and be able to hit a green and stop or pull the ball back. Surlyn, you can spin those back with higher lofted wedges, but it takes some softer turf conditions to make that happen. They don't typically interact with the grooves as well as a urethane ball does, and you don't get as much spin into the green. So, north of 10,000 RPMs, and I would say not every ball can be spun, especially not your distance two-piece top rocks. Those are not going to spin backwards. So, Tracy McDonald. What kind of video camera are you using? It is extremely clear. I am looking for one. I have a 5-year-old that is hitting the ball very good, and I would like to make some course vlogs for him. I'm not smirking because you want to make course vlogs. I'm smirking because my camera is a phone. It's an iPhone 6, and I appreciate you liking the quality of the picture of my vlogs that I do, but it's just an iPhone 6 that I mount on a tripod that has a special attachment that holds my phone, and I do use a external mic that attaches to the camera. It was a gift from my wife for Christmas. How awesome was that? And it is possible on a budget to go out and shoot some quality video. You just want to make sure I do use an app. I don't use the regular video app on the phone. I use a special app that I purchased from the App Store. I would tell you it, but I can't remember the name of it right now. But it allows you to mess with the aperture and the exposure and the shutter speed and all that boring camera stuff. That way you can get proper exposures if you know what you're doing, which I went out and shot a course vlog that I'm going to be posting here in the next couple of days with Brian, and he's not very good at it yet. So it's just an iPhone 6 and just with a couple attachments, couple upgrades, and you can be out there making vlogs that are semi-convincing as far as semi-professional looking video. So give it a shot. 99 John Matrix. Have you played a proper links course? It's so hard when the wind is gusting 40 miles an hour in your face on every hole, but I enjoy it more than parkland golf. Uh, Proper links, I'm going to say no. I mean, I've played link style courses, but where I live and where I play the majority of my golf, there tends to be trees on the golf courses. I don't know really of any. There's a course I play near me, Noble Hawk is the name of it, and the front nine is more link style. There's not many trees on it. It's fairly flat. There's still some undulation to it, but you do get more of the wind effect. But other than that, there's just not a whole lot around here that offer that kind of playability. I mean, you'd have to go quite a ways away from me, I think, to get a true link style course. I've played, I think, a couple outside of state that were similar, and yeah, I hated it. I don't like. It seems like around the greens, everything just kind of meanders, and there's no like definite boundaries, and there's a lot of hills around the greens as opposed to just like subtle, break from the fairway into the green. And I had to learn a whole different style of chipping one time playing a course that was a link style. It's called the hill kill, where you take like a 9-iron or 8-iron and blast it into the side of the green and let that kill the speed and momentum of the ball so it trickles on the green. And it wasn't until I learned that shot that I could even get up and down, because I was trying to hit a 56 or 60-degree wedge and have it check, and since the green's above you, it didn't really want to check for you. So yeah, it is a different style of golf. I wish I got to play more of it. I wish I knew more of it, and I would love to one day play a true links course and actually and I guess more of like in Europe and in some place where that's a more common style of golf course. But love to do it. Michael Stott, do you know of a drill for more clubhead speed besides the gym? Even more important, a drill for more speed on the right spot in the swing. Greetings from Germany, Mike. There's no cheating it. I mean, once you've maxed out what you're able to do as far as, if you hold that angle long enough, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because I feel like I'm not a very good explainer of the golf swing, especially like drills and stuff like that. But, I mean, if you can hold that release off and kind of just hold that power and that stored energy until that last moment of impact and really unleash everything with, good timing, flexibility always helps. But it's just, it's hard to say just right off the spot of any drills like that. Now I know they make some unique training devices where one that comes to mind, it's called the whoosh stick, and I promise you I'm not like plugging them right now, but it's kind of a cool thing where there's a foam ball that sits up by the grip, and as you swing down, that foam ball releases because it's just attached by a weak magnet, and as you swing down and the club head speed increases, it actually flips down to the end of the club to help you with your release, and it kind of helps you hold on to that angle on the downswing there. But other than that, yeah, you kind of have to just get more flexible, work on your timing, and the gym doesn't hurt. iBass 2, my question is fairway metal. What is your swing thought? Hit down or sweep it off the tee? Ball location, it seems to be very inconsistent on my strikes for my second shots into par 5s. Well, fairway woods, man, you guys are asking me technical questions about the swing. Fairway woods, my thought is I typically, if I play the ball all the way up front in my stance with a driver, I feel like a lot of people, they mistake one of two ways. One is they play the ball as far up as they play their driver off the tee, or two, they try to put the ball back in their stance and try to hit down on it too much. What I find I get my best results is when I take the ball about a half ball or a full ball back from where I tee up my driver, and I don't want to descend into it too much. You kind of want to catch it right when it levels out. You don't want to swing up into it because that's where you kind of get those drop kicks where you hit an inch or so or half inch behind the ball, and you kind of lose some steam and momentum that way. But you don't want to take the club and straight down into the back of it like you would an iron, but you also don't want to swing up into it like you do a driver. It's kind of just that right when the club bottoms out. So take a couple practice swings away from the ball and kind of find that arc of where the bottom of your fairway wood swing is with that ball position, and try that out. But yeah, swinging up into it doesn't work too well, and swinging down too steep, it seems to not work so well either. So my swing thought is always to find that bottom arc and then just, bam, impact right there. My 2 cents. Speaking of sense, Caddy Sense asks, did you get fired at the golf shop? None of your videos are ever in the shop anymore. You asked this question a couple weeks ago because I did just shoot Golf Buddy one there. So yeah, I didn't get fired from the shop, but yeah, it's hard to shoot videos at the shop because in the summertime we have extended hours and we don't close until 9 o'clock at night and we open up at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that time to get in there to shoot these videos before the crowds come, it's not easy, and I don't like pressuring myself to do it in a certain time frame, and I also don't like staying there until 10 o'clock at night, which I'm sure if you notice some of the videos, I am there at like midnight doing work, which is sad, but no, I still do work there, and I just have to kind of work around their schedule right now, which wintertime we close a little earlier so I can stay after work and do some more inside the shop content then. Carl Maxwell. Hi, Randy. I was wondering, do you do website sales for your shop? Yes, Carl. That is what I do. I try not to plug the website on this channel because it just feels salesy, and I don't want to bring that vibe to this channel. I kind of just like the free nature of it now, and just kind of being straight and straightforward and just kind of having honest conversations. And I don't want to make this about, selling things to my people that, subscribe to the channel. It feels dirty, and I don't like the idea of it. So, yeah, I do online sales for my shop, and I've actually had a couple of you contact me about some equipment, and I've been able to help some of you out with that, and I appreciate it. It's great for us, but us being a licensed retailer, we can't send new equipment outside the United States because of our agreement with manufacturers. So I try to just avoid it all, because if I can't help everybody, I don't want to help just the people inside the States. But if you have questions, feel free to message me, and I'll do whatever I can for you and help you out. So thanks for the question. Alexander Schwartzbart. Hi, Randy. I think my putter is too short. I'm standing almost like in my normal swing posture. Very tall, only bend a little bit. I've got a 34-inch putter, and I am 1.86 meters tall. I don't know how tall that is. My wrist to floor distance is 35.5 inches. Can you help me out? Well, since I didn't get a great education, I'm not sure exactly how tall in feet and inches 1.86 meters, but from what you're describing to me, that's fairly tall. I imagine that's over 6 feet. Sure. But we can help. I can help. I think I have a solution for this, and this kind of goes into my whole putter fitting philosophy. Close your eyes while you're standing over a golf ball. Just kind of close your eyes, and right before you close your eyes, kind of start to work yourself into your posture, and take a grip with your hands as if you have a putter in your hand. And what this is going to do is it's going to help you get into a comfortable posture, open your eyes, and kind of set yourself to where you feel comfortable without a putter in your hand. Now, you're going to need somebody else there with like a yardstick or measuring stick or even your current putter, and have them sneak the putter in beside your hands to where you've already set yourself in your posture, and see where it measures up, because I think you might surprise yourself on what you actually feel comfortable standing in posture-wise. So actually, scratch that. Don't close your eyes. I'm thinking of something else. Eyes open, over the ball, no putter in your hand. Get in your posture with no putter and set your grip, and then have somebody come up with a yardstick or your current putter and set it beside you, and then see where that last hand, whether you do left hand low or whatever your grip is, but the top hand there, have them measure to that point or mark a point on your putter where it goes to. That way you're not grabbing a club and adjusting yourself to that length. You're setting yourself to your muscle memory, and then that way you can get a little bit more accurate feel if your putter's too short, too long. Because if you're standing there and they set your putter next to you and it doesn't even come close to your trailing hand there, the end of it, then yeah, you're going to want something a little bit longer. But I think that you might surprise yourself on what you feel comfortable with when you set up without a putter in your hand at all. Give it a shot. Keep your eyes open. I don't know why I said that. Keenan Morrow Golf. Do you recommend any books that go into biomechanics of a golf swing? I'm planning on teaching in my lifetime, and I want to be able to break down the golf swing like Mark Crossfield. Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. You should definitely do some more research on that and find out, just what people are saying about some books. If anyone knows any good biomechanic golf books out there, put them in the comment section below for Keenan so he can, research those and look them up and read them for himself. Now, I do want to answer some part of this question, which you did say book, and my favorite golf book to read is Golf is Not a Game of Perfect by Pels. Is it by Pels? No, that's Bob Rotolo. Yeah, it's my favorite book, and I don't even know the author. But anyway, the title of the book is Golf is Not a Game of Perfect, and I believe it's by Bob. And he states in the book just a lot of mental approaches to the game, which was really beneficial for me. I think I read it in high school going into college, and it really changed my whole perspective on how to play the game, how to perceive the game, and just put me in a good, positive mindset just in rounds and stuff like that. But Bob Rotella, does that sound right? I'm tired. I don't know. Blake, hi Randy. I really enjoy your videos. I was wondering what credentials you need to become a golf instructor or salesman. Well, salesman, you just need a name tag. Not much going on there. I mean, unless you're working for an academy where they're going to vet their their fitters and stuff like that. But people that sell golf equipment, yeah, name tag. That's all you need. Now, a golf instructor, there's quite a bit that goes into that, which is partially why I've not really ventured down that road, because you do have to do a lot of book work. It's not just a playing test. But that is a part of it, where you have to go out and actually be able to perform on the golf course. But there are a lot of stages to it, a lot of book work. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of money to be able to advance yourself, to be able to call yourself a certified PGA teaching pro. And I think it would be, I don't know, it would be cool. But right now I don't know. It's just a lot of money and a lot of time that I don't have. So, yeah, that's what you need to do. Chad Greiser. I feel like you told me how to pronounce this before, and I'm just messing it up again. How long do you think PXG will last? I know the owner has plenty of money to support his brand, but is it just a trendy club right now? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can't make your living selling $2,000-$3,000 iron sets and $1,000 drivers. It's not feasible. They do a great job marketing the club. I feel like they got the tour presence that always helps with getting the equipment out in front of people. But when it comes to your everyday working class citizen, I don't see how they can go out and spend $4,000 on a full bag of clubs there and really plan to have any future business in it. But yeah, if the guy's loaded and has money to dump into it, he's definitely putting a lot into advertising. I think they make a decent piece of equipment. I will never review it because I can't afford to. I mean, their demo cart prices are out of this world, and we don't even. I mean, we looked into it, and it's insane how much money they charge just to bring demos into your shop. So something I will never venture down the road of trying or reviewing. But if you guys ever have the opportunity, try them. Let me know what you think of them, because I have no interest at this moment. Mike Reeder, hey Randy, is Bobix a chain store? Also, do you know if it's just me, or is the game of golf seems to be picking up some steam as far as interest goes? What are your thoughts? Bobix is not a chain store. It's locally owned and operated. It was started by a gentleman named John Bobick, then purchased by another man named John Rang, who is the current owner today. He's owned it since the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Started working there in the 70s and owned it since, I think, the late 80s, early 90s. But no, it's not a chain store. Locally operated and owned. It's a good old mom and pop shop. But they did, I think, franchise the name some years back. John Bobick did, and there was like 5 of them in the area, but the majority of them are owned by him. But there's no more operating that I know of besides ours. So yeah, it's just the original store, the original one he opened. But what was your second question? Oh yeah, as the game of golf seems to be picking up steam. I think it is. I think it's kind of, we've gotten past that Tiger slump, which was very depressing, and it still kind of is. But golf just hit such a high. I mean, a high that it's never seen before when Tiger did what Tiger did. And love him or hate him, I mean, it doesn't bother me any. But the guy changed the game as far as, I mean, he just made everybody money. He made everybody in the game wealthier. And just to have that polarizing effect on the game is crazy. But when he went away, everybody just kind of like, I don't know, they pulled back from the game, stayed away from the game, and just kind of, everything kind of went downhill economy-wise. I mean, we all know that story. And it just kind of all matched up at that same time where it was just like, bummed everybody out. But yeah, it seems to be on the rebound, seems to be on the bounce back. It's so exciting right now, as I was explaining earlier, because there's just so many good players out there. And the game seems so diverse. It seems like anybody can win. So that's a positive thing. And it makes people feel like, hey, if I want to play this game and I want to take it to the next level, there's an opportunity, there's a chance there if I work hard and apply myself, because there's methods to do so now. Whereas back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, there were a handful of guys that could win a golf tournament any given weekend, but there just wasn't that great of a chance for the other guys because they didn't have the facilities, they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the knowledge, they didn't have the coaches, the gyms, everything accessible that they could work on their game, or did they even know how to work on their game to get to the elite levels. So the teaching is much more diverse. There's so much more knowledge out there now, and these guys are playing the game, and I think playing the game well to the point where it's helping the game pick up steam, as you described it, and it's just becoming, it seems like it's kind of snowballing, and it feels like the game's growing right now, and it feels very positive, and I love that. It's a feeling I haven't had in a long time, because it felt like we were still coming off the Tiger high, and I think it's bottomed out, and I think we're kind of picking up. I think that the game has new superstars, and not even just superstars, but just new faces, new people to look up to that aren't just 5 guys. I mean, Jimmy Walker. Who called that? Nobody. But he won, and that's uplifting. It makes your everyday guy that's a casual fan be like, hey, who's this guy? Just won. So, very cool. 2 more questions, and then I'll finish off this page here. Roll Tide asked, is there a swing thought you use when a branch is almost in your swing path? Even if the branch is a few inches from interfering with my swing, I can't swing freely. The thought of hitting the branch takes over, and I usually duff it. I understand, and that's crazy you say that, because in the course vlog I'm going to post, Brian finds himself in that situation, very same situation. I think it's like 3 or 4 holes in, and he is right underneath a branch, and he takes a practice swing away from it because he knows the branch is interfering. He gets himself into position of the ball. He locates where the branch is going to make impact, so there's no surprises. So he knows that when I get back here, there's going to be a rustle, and I know it's the club interacting with the branch. And when he swings through, there's another branch, and he knows that's going to happen there. So what he does is he takes his practice swing, lines up his shot like he regularly would, and he steps in like a champ. This is exactly the way I would tell somebody to do it. And he steps in there, and he knows all of his points of contact. He knows where the club's going to interact with it, and he just pushes through it. He takes as normal a swing as he possibly can, and he hits a stellar shot because of his mindset and mentality. But I do know the feeling of, what you can't think of is you can't think of, trying to miss the branch or trying to avoid it, because in those cases, you're going to try to manipulate the club outside of your regular swing, and yeah, you're probably going to hit a bad shot. Now, if it's a bigger branch, then once again, you need to decide the shot that you can hit in that situation. So if it's a big branch, you can't take a full swing, then you need to either change clubs or you need to find a shot that's going to work. Maybe it's a pitch, maybe it's a punch shot, maybe it's a knockdown, but one that doesn't allow you to take the swing that's going to interact with that branch if it bugs you that much. So there's a lot of ways to interact, or a lot of ways to approach it, but if you can't take a full swing or the branches are too big to interact with, then you need to either find a different club or a different shot selection that enables you to take a confident swing and punch it out, because even a punch out's better than a duff. So at least you can get yourself into a position where your next shot's going to be manageable, as opposed to hitting it another 6 inches and having to deal with the same thing all over again. Last question. T-Chrome84, what are your thoughts on clone clubs not counterfeit, such as those found on diamondtour.com and other similar sites? I've heard they can perform very similar to clubs they try to knock off, but come at a much lower price point, since you're not paying for the big name brand. Well, excuse me, I'm not familiar with diamondtour.com, and I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of clone clubs, because we obviously are we deal with the major manufacturers, and we have accounts with all those, so we would not bring in knockoff brands, is kind of what we call them here. Now, performance-wise, I can't even speak to this because I've never tried them before. Now, the only thing that I could see is that they don't have to pay for, the R&D, the research and development, the engineering of the club, because what they do is they take technology that's already existing and irons that are out there and then just mimic that design, which is, smart. Seems like it could be infringing as far as the patent's concerned, but I think what could be concerning is, I think another reason they're so inexpensive is they probably skimp on the materials, or at least the purity of the materials. They might not be as tight as tolerance. They might not be as well inspected when they get built, but who am I to say? If they perform, if your level of your play doesn't see any, I guess, variance in that between a knockoff club and the actual model itself, what the heck? Let it ride. See if it works out for you. But no, I wouldn't recommend it, because it still costs money to make that stuff, and it just seems like they're going to the same mills and factories in China that are making the club heads for these current models, and then just having them make a one-off, kind of something a little bit different that doesn't infringe on the patents, but maybe the materials are not quite there, maybe like I said, the tolerances aren't quite there. But that's it. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. As always, I guess I should have done a prediction for the Olympics, but I'm kind of excited to watch that. If you're still watching this video, put down in the comment section who you think will win the Olympics. I'll know who made it to the end of the video that way. But I don't know. I feel like Patrick Reed is he's motivated. Him and Bubba, they seem really motivated to play well in the Olympics. Stenson. Maybe Stenson. Not going to make a pick on this one because my Rory pick was so awful. But thanks for watching as always. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to go get some sleep. So I will see you guys next time.